Dominaria United, spoiler, hype, take two. I tried recording this and I ran out of space. And I was almost done. And so I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna split this up into two parts. I'm gonna try to go maybe a little faster, spend a little less time talking about stuff. So we're gonna jump right in with hype. And I'm gonna say, like I said before, I am wrong about this set. I thought this was going to be a beginner set, an intro set with lots of planeswalkers, lots of legendaries. It was going to introduce new players into Magic and back into the plane because it's 30th anniversary. And I'm looking at this set and I'm wrong. I am dead ass wrong. This is gonna be epic. And to start this epic with, when I this morning I was checked early to see if they put out any spoilers, before the actual Magic the Gathering official stream started, and they did. They put out one. And that one almost made me fall out of my wheelchair. And for those of you that don't know, I am wheelchair bound. And this card is a card that is very powerful, very desired, and it's a reprint that people have really, really wanted. Trying to get the camera right so things in the background don't show up. So this is Liliana of the Veil. 2 black and 1 for a 3 loyalty legendary planeswalker Liliana. +1 loyalty, each player discards a card. -2 loyalty, target player sacrifices a creature. -6 loyalty, separate all permanents target player controls into 2 piles. That player sacrifices all permanents in the pile of their choice. Yahoo! Everybody was looking for this in Double Masters 22. It's here in Dominaria United, and people are going to want this card. We can get some special treatments on it. Basically, foil treatment and whatever. So people are going to want this card. Don't know if it'll be quite the chase card of the set, but it's definitely a desirable card. Next up is the Raven Man. If you've been following the story on Mike Hatcher's Fantasy Geographic, you'll know who this is and what the deal is with this. This is the Raven Man. 1 black and 1 for a legendary human wizard. 2/1 legendary human wizard. At the beginning of each end step, if a player discarded a card this turn, create a black 1/1 black creature bird token with flying, and this creature can't block. And for 1 black and 3, tap. Each opponent discards a card. Activate only as a sorcery. So if this is in Commander, yeah, there can be all sorts of fun things. You cause them to each discard a card, and you got 3 black bird tokens. Next up is Zur, Eternal Schemer. 1 white, 1 blue, 1 black for a 1/4 legendary human wizard with flying, and has enchantment creatures you control have death touch, lifelink, and hexproof. Now we get all sorts of enchantments and enchantment creatures in Kamigawa Nuya Dynasty that will still be in Standard when this set officially drops. And also, Zur has an ability, 1 white and 1, target non-aura enchantment you control becomes a creature in addition to its other types and has base power and toughness, each equal to its mana value. So you turn your enchantments, non-aura enchantments, like sagas and other enchantments, into creatures. And they all have Death Touch, Lifelink, and Hexproof. Good luck getting rid of them. And it's a non-tappable ability, so you can keep doing this as long as you have the mana to do it. If you're playing an enchantment deck, you're having fun. Next up is another creature that we've seen quite often on the plane of Dominaria. Mainly because, well, now he got made immortal. So Squee, Dubious Monarch. 1 red and 2 for a 2/2 legendary goblin noble with haste. Whenever Squee, Dubious Monarch attacks, create a 1/1 red goblin creature token that's tapped and attacking. You may cast Squee, Dubious Monarch from your graveyard by paying 1 red and 3 and exiling 4 other cards from your graveyard rather than paying its mana cost. Well, that's Goblin for you, and of course he's immortal, so he can come back from the graveyard. Fits in with his character. Next up is another card that a lot of people are gonna freak out over. A very powerful card. Soul of Windgrace. 1 black, 1 red, and green, and 1 for a 5/4 legendary cat avatar. Whenever Soul of Windgrace enters the battlefield or attacks, you may put a land card from a graveyard onto the battlefield tapped under your control. That's a graveyard, not just your graveyard. 1 green, discard a land card. You gain 3 life. Useful. More life gain, thank you. 1 red and 1, discard a land card. Draw a card. Card draw in red? Say what? 1 black and 2, discard a land card. Soul of Windgrace gains indestructible until end of turn. Tap it. It can defend itself. Hoo-ha. This is a little hard to get rid of. And it's powerful. Next up is something that was mentioned in the Mark Rosewater text spoilers that I just dropped. That video just dropped. So, and this is a legend from the original Legend set that is still around. And this is Solkanar the Tainted. For 1 blue, 1 black, 1 red, and 2 for a 5/5 legendary elemental demon. There's that elemental demon. Now we know who that is. At the beginning of your end step, choose one that hasn't been chosen. Draw a card. Each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Solkanar the Tainted deals 3 damage to up to 1 other target creature or planeswalker. And then finally exile Solkanar and then return it to the battlefield under an opponent's control. But Solkanar in its casting cost has red and blue, which are 2 colors that are used in Thief decks. So if you have that as the Thief deck, I just give Solkanar to I used up my Solkanar, I just give it to my opponent. Oh look, I'll just play Oh, I don't know. Something like Mind Flayer. Oh, look, Solkanar is back under my control. And I can use all of his abilities again. Uh-oh. Next up is a member of the Weatherlight crew. Raph, Weatherlight Stalwart. 1 white, 1 blue for a 1/3 legendary human wizard. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you may tap up to 2 untapped creatures you control. If you do, draw a card. Now that can be useful especially if you have cards with vigilance. You can tap those cards with vigilance, draw a card at the end of your turn. And also, he has 2 white and 3 creatures you control gain +1/+1 and gain vigilance until end of turn. There's your vigilance. There's your sign. Next up is another member of the Weatherlight crew, Joyra, Ageless Innovator. Another very powerful card. For 1 blue and 1 red, a 2/3 legendary human artificer that says tap, put 2 ingenuity counters on Joyra Ageless Innovator. Then you may put an artifact card with mana value X or less from your hand onto the battlefield, where X is the number of ingenuity counters on Joyra. Blue, especially, and red are famous for being, colors that you would play artifact decks. So, who bloody ha! And with a 2/3 for 2 mana, you're getting some value there. Next up are 2 planeswalkers from what is going to be the commander decks for Dominaria United. First up is Jared Carthelion. Wooburg, also known as white, blue, black, red, and green. For a 5 loyalty legendary planeswalker, Jared. +1 loyalty. Create a 3/3 Kavu creature token with trample that's all colors. That's fun enough in itself. -3 loyalty. Choose up to 2 target creatures. For each of them, put a number of +1/+1 counters on them equal to the number of colors it is. So you want to be playing multicolored decks with this thing. But think about this. First turn it comes out, you create your 3/3 Kavu. Next turn you spend the -3, and your Kavu is now an 8/8 trample. Screw me. And you can do that with 2 creatures. So if you're playing a lot of multicolored creatures, this is your planeswalker. There's probably going to be a lot of multicolored creatures in this commander deck. And for -6 loyalty, return target multicolor card from your graveyard to your hand. If that card was all colors, draw a card and create 2 treasure tokens. Sliver Hive Lord, the first Sliver, Tiamat, and it creates 2 treasure tokens. And finally, he can be your commander. And since this is getting to be almost a halfway point, I'm going to finish off with the other commander card, Dihada, Binder of Wills. 1 red, 1 white, 1 black, and 1 for A 5 loyalty legendary planeswalker Dihada. +2 loyalty. Up to 1 target legendary creature gains vigilance, lifelink, and indestructible until your next turn. Yeah. Use it now, and it's indestructible until your next turn. That's fun. -3 loyalty. Reveal the top 4 cards of your library. Put any number of legendary cards from among them in your hand and the rest into your graveyard. Create a treasure token for each card put into the graveyard this way. Yahoo! So if you don't have that many, legendary creatures coming off the top 4, or if they're all, you just create treasure tokens. So you create treasure tokens to cast the creature you just put in your hand too. So Yahoo's knock. And finally, for -11 loyalty, gain control of all non-land permanents until end of turn. Untap them. They gain haste until end of turn. And Dihada, Binder of Wills, can be your commander. What the bleep? Did Dihada steal an ability from Nicol-Bolas, the Dragon God? Well, I'm going to end that there and say, wow. I'll see you in part hype 2. Peace.